Greetings from my hometown of Boise, Idaho. My name is Chris Messler, and I'm a candidate for the Master of Educational Technology degree from Boise State University in the fall of 2011. I am currently out of the classroom, but I am a veteran teacher with experience in middle school with a variety of subjects, including mathematics, English, world studies, literature, reading, health, PE, and computer. At my last school, I had access to a computer lab, a classroom set of laptops, and a smartboard. With this technology available, I strive to create lessons and projects that would include online research or an activity, and gave learners opportunities to demonstrate their learning on the smartboard. After participating in the J.A. and Catherine Albertson Foundation's Teaching with Technology workshops, I became very interested in finding further resources for instructional lesson development in educational technology. Researching online, I found that Boise State University had 2 master's degree choices in educational technology, and I visited the campus to find out more. I was fortunate to meet with Jerry Foster, the EdTech Program Admissions Coordinator, and discuss what I desired from the EdTech program. He gave me very wise advice about which degree would suit my interests, and I enrolled in the Master of Educational Technology program in the summer of 2007. At that time, I was also caring for my mother who had Alzheimer's disease, so I took classes part-time so I could be available for her needs. The most significant experience I had during my time at Boise State was a transition from my training in the Madeline Hunter method of teaching as a teacher-lecturer to an EdTech instructor that functions as a facilitator, moderator, and instructional designer. I learned many years ago that teaching, by Madeline Hunter's definition, is a series of decisions that take place in 3 areas: content, learning behavior of students, and teacher behaviors. Content decisions are based upon students' prior knowledge and how it relates to future instruction. Simple understandings must precede more complex understandings. Learning behavior decisions indicate how a student will learn and show evidence of that learning. A variety of learning behaviors is usually more effective than a single approach. Evidence of learning must be made observable by the teacher to make sure that the learning has occurred. During the MET program, I found that many of the same underlying principles in Madeline Hunter's methods apply to instruction with educational technology as well, although the approaches or the terminology are sometimes a little different. The greatest impact on my teaching and my thoughts about teaching with educational technology was the knowledge gained about learning theories in EdTech 504, Theoretical Foundations of EdTech, and the multimedia learning principles found in EdTech 513, Multimedia Design.
Working memory can be easily overloaded if too many pieces of information are brought in at one time. Much like a whirlpool bathtub, as long as the information is below the jet level, it can swirl with ease to cover the area of the tub. However, if the information flow reaches a higher level, it becomes frantic and separating the calm from the waves is impossible. In the middle of the forest stands a glass chapel, filled with the intricate scaffolding that supported its internal construction until its completion. The zone of proximal development is the space between what learners can do by themselves and the next learning level they can achieve with scaffolding by the instructor. As the learner's abilities increase, the amount of scaffolding should decrease to the point that the learner is able to complete the task or master the concepts independently. Constructivism is a meaning-making theory that challenges the traditional teacher transmission of information for regurgitation. In the constructivist view, the instructor acts as an anchor to provide strong instructional guidance, thus keeping learners from developing misconceptions or incomplete information about the topic. In order to understand a real-world situation, learners make a working model of the situation in their minds, also known as a mental model. Kenneth Craig theorized that through experience, training, and instruction, a mental model is created. A series of books written by Fred Gwynne play on the inaccurate mental models created by young learners when they hear verbal phrases. For example, a child may misconstrue the meaning of the phrase, "Along with chicken, we are having a chocolate mousse for dinner." Constructionism is defined as learning by making, while constructivism is learning by doing. In application, learners that create long-term projects based on personal interest, expertise, and experience gain an abundance of topic knowledge. Like constructing a building from the ground up, long-term projects not only provide an overall topic learning experience, but many details are picked up along the way. When learners learn with technology rather than from technology, they take ownership of their own learning.
My observation about learning theories is that there is not one exclusive theory that covers every aspect of learning. There are several theories that work together to lead us as instructors to better teaching methods. However, I also find that most theorists do not agree with one another about learning and teaching methods. From this information, it's best to take a more eclectic approach to learning theories in order to give learners a better learning experience. The knowledge I've gained about learning theories through the MET program has changed the way I approach instructional design, and it will make a tremendous difference in the presentation of information to learners in my classroom, virtual or brick and mortar. While good planning aids in the transfer of information, my role in the classroom has transformed from a teacher-lecturer to a facilitator of learning. What will this look like? There will be more opportunities for critical thinking and discovery, more peer interaction in groups and pairs of learners, and a plan in each lesson to make a meaningful context for learning. Learners will be encouraged to apply previous knowledge and to pursue independent study of the topic at hand. As the instructor, I will scaffold rather than swarm around the learners, asking critical questions instead of giving information. Learners will be able to explain how they approached and solved any problem they encountered, and then afterwards, opportunities will be provided for learners to reflect on their new learning.
Richard Mayer devised the theory of multimedia learning. He believes that learning is an active process of filtering, selecting, organizing, and integrating information. When a multimedia presentation of text, images, and/or auditory information is given, these items are not processed individually. Rather, the brain selects each of them and organizes them to make logical mental constructs or schema. Multimedia presentations using this type of approach allow the learner to control the speed of information for processing and are dependent on the learner to find motivation for learning, either intrinsically or extrinsically. The Multimedia Learning Principles project involved the creation of an Adobe Fireworks graphic with links to the 8 multimedia learning principles. The links then lead to an audio-visual presentation of each principle. This project is especially meaningful to me because I had wanted to learn how to create better presentations for learners, and the principles I studied here gave me specific tools to use to make them better.
Instructional materials that include graphics must support critical psychological events in order to improve learning. They need to direct learner attention to important information in the lesson, activate prior knowledge and memory, manage cognitive load to free long-term memory for learning, build mental models, support the transfer of learning to application to near transfer or far transfer tasks, and to motivate learners to initiate and complete learning goals. I love practical applications of theory, and the multimedia learning principles gave me the design applications I desired. These principles made a change in how I design visuals, and I am anxious to use them in my instructional design endeavors. My largest and most complex creation during the MET program is the United Kingdom unit from EdTech 506, Instructional Message Design. I used a mix of hand coding in Adobe Dreamweaver, graphics created in Adobe Fireworks, personal photographs, and videos created through Apple Keynote, Microsoft PowerPoint, and Apple iMovie. One of my favorite classes to teach is World Studies, so it was a joy to be able to use photographs and information from my recent trip to the United Kingdom as resource material for this project. When visiting the UK, I found vast amounts of information that clarified the topics we had covered in World Studies and introduced new topics open for more inquiry.
The graphic organizer serves as the outline of the unit. Since it is a directive visual, it was important to have links to UK topics. It seemed logical to have the topics in a circular shape as they are all surrounding the central theme, the United Kingdom. I then took each individual topic and defined applicable subtopics for each one. The pages under the lesson topics were created so that learners have a list of visuals by lesson topic with links, as well as including a trivia column on each page to draw interest. Each page also has a link back to the unit homepage. These visuals help guide learners through a topic in the UK unit. The design lists links to location of information while not creating cognitive overload for learners. This was my first attempt to create an interactive organizational graphic designed in Adobe Fireworks using multiple pages that show the countries in the UK and the top 5 or 6 facts about each. It highlights each section of the UK individually and is color-coded to help distinguish separate areas. I am pleased with the result. The design elements of point, line, shape, value, texture, and color were carefully considered when constructing the visuals for the unit. One specific example is this interpretive graphic on knighthood, where the use of a diagonal line illustrates the step of becoming a knight. The process shown includes the committees that can approve or disapprove along the way to receiving an invitation from the Queen. The Must-Sees page is a virtual field trip of the well-known places in the UK. It is a representational graphic. Because it uses photos for hotspots, it also provides a look into the geographic climates of the region. A good example of informal balance is the project page of the unit. Rather than following complete symmetry, the visual is balanced by the weight of the images on the page. This is a transformational graphic that lists connected steps to complete a travel brochure for a country of the learner's choice that is not related to the UK. A representational graphic of a sample brochure is linked to the page, as is the grading rubric.
The United Kingdom unit that I created demonstrates my creativity, depth of knowledge, and skill in the practical application of educational technology theories and designs. In conclusion, we as EdTech instructors need to be fluent in our subject, have good people management skills, and have organizational strengths. We must create an inviting learning atmosphere for students, especially through regular contact. Working as facilitators, we should use a variety of strategies that reach diverse learners while taking into consideration the individual student's learning environment. How will I personally accomplish this? It will be important to not only function as the assessor of skills, but also as a resource for technological and instructional aid. Communication is the key to any relationship, and even more so to online education. Without the face-to-face interaction of a physical classroom, a sense of well-being must be created in order to continue to motivate student participation in virtual classrooms. In order to be successful in this approach, I must recognize students' readiness for learning, background knowledge, preferred learning styles, and their interests. Common sense tells us that in order to determine the preparedness of the learner, we must look outside the classroom and into the home environment. How involved are the parents willing to become to assist the learner? Does the learner have access to a computer and the internet? Does the learner have a physical workspace in the home? Are there cultural or socioeconomic issues that will hinder the learner's progress? I will take these items into consideration when designing curriculum. I come to the completion of this program as a more poised online learner and a confident instructor in educational technology methods. I will continue to work steadily to stay current with all of the exciting new technological opportunities that are sure to come. I'm anxious to start the next phase of my career with renewed enthusiasm and the tools I need to play a part in the training up of the next generation of leaders. I also want to take a moment and thank the wonderful Boise State EdTech faculty and staff members for an awesome learning journey. As the famed librarian John Cotton Dana said, "Who dares to teach must never cease to learn."